Hello, and welcome to Auditions 2 of AGT Time. Cody Patterson here, along with.
Along with Jay Bach, reviewing the second episode of season 15. We are coming up on quarantine in AGT time, and
Yeah,
now we're eventually going to see how they're going to deal with all of this. So this was actual auditions in front of an actual audience, in front of the actual judges, not done over Zoom. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
yeah, I think we're getting closer to that. You could still tell, you could kind of tell from this particular episode that they were digging a little deep for some stuff to show. We got some dissension in the judges. We got some boos from the crowd, and they dug down to show us some bad acts. So it's getting tough for them to show some footage. So I think we're getting close to figuring out what they planned on doing for quarantine.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. Certainly going to be interesting. So
It's kind of like a time capsule, Jay, because we've already been through this starting in March and April and May, and we're now in June, but we're now seeing how AGT dealt with it back in March and then April. So it's like
yes,
we're going back in time to kind of revisit this entire experience that we've all been through in the last 3 months.
yeah, it is kind of interesting to look back. Just 3 months ago, or man, an entire 3 months ago. I'm not sure how you how time feels to you these days, but just 3 months ago, things were really normal. There was no um, quarantining. There was no having to wear a mask. There was no trying to get 2 or 3 weeks of groceries at a time. Like you're just living life as normal, as it were. So um, it will be interesting to see how the show progresses, and then what they're going to do with the quarters and the semis and whatnot moving forward. Normally, there's live shows. What are we going to do for live shows? I don't know.
No, it's still unknown at this point. AGT hasn't released any information up to this point about what they're going to do. It's more of just a wait and see type thing right now.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but with that, I guess it's fair to say we had a good episode. I'm looking forward to talking about some of these acts. There was plenty to make me smile, a little bit to make me scratch my head, and uh, you know, uh, all in all, any America's Got Talent is good. America's Got Talent, and
That's right.
I think it's worth reminding ourselves and reminding listeners that if we come down hard or not. Not overly sympathetic towards the acts. It's because we care and because we like the show and we want the show to be as good as possible, not because we're rude or mean or trying to make anybody's day a bad day.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about this before, Jay. That is the show, is it a competition show or is it an entertainment show? And I guess the answer is yes. And we kind of look at it as both. And in our entertainment, we like to kind of criticize our entertainment a little bit. We pull for the ones we like, and we have some constructive criticism for the ones that we don't. But we try not to be mean to them. Obviously, they're still human beings, and four-legged friends. So we're here because we love the show. We love to see some good entertainment, and we want to see some high quality entertainment, like you all want to hear quality entertainment from us.
Yes. So if you love what we're doing, reach out to us sometime. You can reach out to us on Twitter at AGT Time. You could reach out to Cody himself at Cody L. Patterson, or me. I'm at One Man Bander. You can also reach out on Facebook. It's AGT Cast or AGTcast at gmail.com. How's that for covering those bases?
Fantastic. Also, over the when Champions 2 started, or actually between Champions 2 and now, I also signed us up for PayPal.
That's
So if you
right.
do like what you hear and you want to help us, we still gotta pay our web host, our podcast hosting. We got to take care of all that stuff. So if you want to if you want to help us out, we'd really appreciate just donate a couple bucks here and there. You can PayPal us at agtcast@gmail.com. We'd really appreciate it. We don't do Patreon. We don't have sponsors. We're just a small time podcast, and every little bit would kind of help us get through the season.
The best darn AGT cast there is, if you ask me. I've tried to find a few others. I haven't found a whole lot worth listening to.
I think we're the number one AGT podcast that records on Thursday nights.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you ready to get into the episode, or you got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm ready to jump into it. Let's talk. The Thursday night number one recording AGT cast in the world.
Yeah. So go ahead and hit us up with some Divas and Drummers of Compton.
Divas and Drummers of Compton. They're the first act of the night. They are a dance and percussion group. What they call them, the Dangers of Compton and the Beauties of Compton sort of make up the Divas and Drummers of Compton. Some urban kids, they're drummers and dancers. It's a drum line with dancers alongside of them. So in their intro package, our leader, I'm not sure that we learned her name. She was born and raised in Compton. She came back to make Compton a better place. They've got these kids, ages 3, little Maddie, age 3, on up, look like through and maybe past high school. I knew what we were getting into with this act. It's something that we've seen before. Here in Central Iowa, there's a group called the Icicerettes that kind of do this same thing. It's dancers and drumline, and they're fun to watch, and they're really engaging. So I was looking forward to this. The act itself was fun, in a word. Not the most in sync, not the most athletic, not the most dangerous, but I have no complaints. It was fun. It was straight up fun. What'd you think of Divas and Drummers of Compton?
I think fun is probably the exact word for them. I love a good drum line. They reminded me very much of the movie Drumline, and we heard Malik Dope Drummer talk about the movie Drumline last week. How he went and he went to college, went to be on a drum line, learned how to play the drums because of the movie. And this group reminded me exactly of that movie as well. They were a lot of fun. They had the dancers. They had little kids playing. I don't know if you caught it, Jay, but right after they started playing, the little 3-year-old kind of marched his way right off the stage. Part of their little routine was him to kind of fade away into the off stage there, and then peek his head out right at the very end, which I thought was really cute.
Super cute.
Yeah. There wasn't one individual in the group that stuck out to me. So as a whole, I thought they were great. But they're a drum line, and they're a lot of fun. I think there's some things they can do. It's going to be kind of hard to compare them to Malik Dope Drummer, because Malik he's a dancer. He's a solo dancer. He's a solo drummer. If they were to kind of team up, I think that'd be fun, but I don't see that happening. I kind of commented during the episode, I think this is the year of the drummer. I think it's the first season we've had. I don't know if we've ever had like just drum lines or drummers, and now we have 2 on the season. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to bring any more in. But I think it could be the year of the drummer. I'm not sure these 2 performances are going to be able to win AGT. I think the competition's just too good, and I'm not sure a drumline can win. There's just they're kind of they're really a one-trick pony. They only can do one thing, and that's be a drumline, and they do it very well. But I don't think they have what it takes to win AGT. But they will be fun to watch while they're on the show.
That was one of the comments I wrote down for myself. Is as a drumline, it's really hard to do a recognizable song.
Yes.
a singer can do a song or a variation on a song, or any instrumentalist can do a song, or their interpretation or variation of the song. But a drum line, like, it really is kind of a one trick pony, and it's hard to tell one beat from the beat that you guys did in your last performance, which is different from the beat you did in the performance before that. Like, it's all just kind of a lot of beating and a lot of noise. And the dancers kind of similarly, like, without some shtick, it's going to look like a lot of the same flipping and throwing and catching and moving around the stage.
Yes.
So they have to find something to make themselves stand out and not be just the same act again. That's one of the things that I think we were worried about with The Unbeatable, but they found a way to make each act, each performance different from the last one.
Yep.
And
they bring in different props, or they would do different, one guy would jump in differently, or they'd have a different set, something of that nature. Yeah.
Right. And Divas and Drummers of Compton are going to have to find something like that to do if they want to be memorable and if they want to go far in the competition.
Yep.
But I smiled throughout. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You too. Yeah.
We can go over judges' comments. Simon said, "I loved every single part of that audition. The amount of work you must have put into it. It was fantastic." Sophia said, "You look like you've rehearsed this. It's so synchronized." Heidi said, "This is exactly what I want to see when I watch America's Got Talent. 90 seconds, full of fun." And Howie said, "This inspires people in your community and other communities to be inspired to put something together like this. You guys epitomize what the show is about." So high praise from the judges, 4 yeses. I would expect them to get 4 yeses. I don't expect them to go far in the competition.
Yeah, I mean, they may get past judge cuts. If they do, I don't think then America is going to vote them through in the live show. So we'll just have to kind of see what they choose to do when they get to judge cuts.
Yeah, but the Detroit Youth Choir, Detroit rallied around them, and they made it a lot further than I ever thought they would do. So
yeah,
if they can get some local support, if they can grow a team of people around them voting, you might be surprised.
Yeah, and Detroit Youth Choir proved that you can do the same act
You
twice.
can be a one-trick pony.
So I don't know about a one-trick pony. They did have multiple songs,
2.
but they did sing the same song twice, and was able to get pretty far. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. That's a good example or not. But
all right. Second act of the night, a young gentleman named Thomas Day from Nashville, Tennessee. At the time of recording, anyhow, he was a junior in high school. Happens to be ranked 7th in the country for his ability to kick a football. Also plays hockey and soccer. All around stud of a kid, right? He does sports. He writes songs at night, and he'll find himself crying over the songs that he's written. And he says, "I'd rather be a musician than an athlete." So that's kind of who we're introduced to here. I could not take my eyes off of Thomas Day's sweater. What did you think of that kid's sweater?
I mean, that was a throwback sweater. He seems to really like retro outfits, but it seemed very interesting that I don't think when this was recorded in probably January or February, I'm not sure it gets terribly cold in Nashville, but he's also in LA, and I'm not sure that sweater is necessary in LA this time of year. So I was confused more with the sweater than anything.
Yeah, it looked like it was about 2 sizes too large, and really fuzzy on the top and really fuzzy on the bottom, and it had kind of a stripe across the chest with like like a Native American kind of design through that stripe that wasn't fuzzy at all. So yeah, that was.
I know the kids these days are really. I know the kids these days are really doing retro. They're doing 80s and 90s. clothing. That definitely seemed like that would have been a Cody sweater back in middle school or high school in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Did you also have the flock of seagulls hair that he did, or is that?
I did not know. Yes, again, we're throwing back to the 80s. So he seems to really be retro. And if he's gonna do the flock of seagulls haircut and the 80s or 90s sweater, then you would think he'd kind of want to sing a song from that era.
Yeah, and maybe that would have been better. I don't know. But he did a song called "Break My Heart Again" by Phineas. Are you familiar with the song?
I'm not, no, and I don't think I'm familiar with anything by Phineas. I was expecting Ferb to come out as well and sing with him. That's the only Phineas I know.
Yeah, well, okay. So we got Phineas, "Break My Heart Again." It's kind of a slow ballad, a fine song. He, had a very, he presented himself as having a very emotional attachment to the song. Got a standing ovation from the audience and Simon. Um, the actual performance itself, what did you think of his voice, his presentation? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there was really nothing about him except for the sweater and his haircut that stuck out to me. He seemed his singing seemed very very average. There wasn't anything special that stuck out. And maybe I'm missing it somewhere, but it just seemed like he was just another singer. And he sang a song I didn't recognize. That doesn't really mean a whole lot. Other people seem to know it, and that's great. If they know it and they love it, then that's good. It didn't do anything for me. I think he needs to go back to kicking. He's ranked seventh in the nation for kicking as a junior. That's really good.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna be all right, I think. Yeah.
yeah, so senior year, doesn't get injured, continues on this trend, go to college, get on at a good college, continue kicking the football. Maybe continue go, major in singing or whatever, and hone this craft. I don't think you're there yet. I think was it Howie? Yeah, Howie kind of also agreed that he didn't feel now was the right time. And I kind of agree, and the audience didn't agree. So I'm glad we kind of got a little bit of that, where Howie kind of veered away from everyone else.
Yeah, yeah, and I always appreciate when the judges give us something more to chew on other than "that was good, that was great, good job, it was so fantastic." Um, in the we have to talk about the America's Got Feels of it all,
Yeah,
and he is just like this, or he at least presents himself as this like flawless young man, right? He's handsome and he's artistic and athletic and tough and emotional and soft and strong. Like he's all of these things, and any girl would swoon to have him look her direction. But flawless just isn't very sympathetic, right? Like I don't see the vast majority of Americans being like, "Oh, Thomas Day, my,"
yeah.
you know, he's just like a little too perfect. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Sophia said, "I think you're very handsome. I think it's great that a guy like you who's into sports is also into music." Howie said, "You have a great charisma, and a great tone in your voice, but you looked a little nervous and stiff to me." Simon said, "What did your teammates say?" He said, "But you play football. You're not a singer." And then Heidi said, "I love a young man who's not afraid to sing a schmaltzy song." So 3 yeses. We got a no from Howie on this one, our first dissension of the season. Um, and I feel like I would have fallen into the no category on this one. It's not
Yeah, I agree.
not unique enough for me.
Right. I think that's the thing is he didn't stand out to me. And it's interesting that none of the judges really talked about his singing. They commented, not afraid to sing a schmaltzy song. You're handsome. You're a great guy. Things like that. But not one of them said, "Oh man, your voice was clear. Everything was on pitch. Oh, you're
How he said you have a great tone in your voice, right? And he does have kind of a like throaty kind of thing when he sings, but
yeah,
uh, if that's what he's honing, if that's what he's going for, he did it. But it's not. He's not going to stand out to me, other than the kid who plays football and sings.
yeah. They commented more on Thomas the person and Thomas the guy, and not Thomas the singer.
Right. Yep. All right, time for some of our rejected acts. You ready to go through this compilation of?
Absolutely, I look forward to this every week.
Okay, so curtain opens on Jordan Perez. He's a pianist slash singer. Not a great singer, as it turns out, but he's got a lot of want to, a lot of
Yeah,
energy, a lot of gusto.
a lot of enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, yeah, up the coming out the ears. I didn't even write down what song it was, but what would you
No.
think of Jordan Perez?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head that he's energetic, he's enthusiastic, but he could not sing. I think Sophia mentioned he must have had a problem with his microphone, and but it wasn't a technical issue. It was a voice issue where his voice kept cutting in and out, and it seemed like he was just constantly out of breath from all his enthusiasm. So
Yeah. If you're gonna play the enthusiasm card, you got to keep up with yourself, right?
yeah.
Second was Chad Damiani, a comedian slash improv artist. I didn't take up any of his any notes on him. What would you think of Chad?
Is this the guy that told the toilet joke,
Mm,
or is that a different guy?
yes, I
So
I didn't even take it down.
So I think if it's this guy, he told the joke. I tell jokes at night and fix toilets for a living. That's my bidet job.
Yes. That was him. He was reading it out of a book, if I recall,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Uh,
I mean,
so
it's fun little jokes there. Don't read them out
okay.
of a book though.
All right. Third of the four here was Matt Harbert. He is listed as a comedian on the wiki. Plays an instrument called an automaton. Are you familiar with an automaton by chance?
I'd never heard of this. I think it was Sophia asked if it was a plunger. Can you describe it to me?
So there's a ball on the bottom end and a stick that comes out of the top. And as you move your hand up the stick, the note goes down in pitch. And
Okay.
the harder you squeeze the ball on the bottom, the louder it gets. It's kind of works like a theremin, right? There's no like actual notes to hit. You're sliding your way up and down uh, the stick coming out of the top. And so you can stop and start the notes by squeezing the ball on the bottom. And believe it or not, this is not my first encounter with an automaton.
Why am I not surprised that one man bander hasn't encountered this instrument before?
I've never actually had the pleasure of playing an automaton, but I've seen them, and I've seen a handful of YouTube videos. Don't tell my wife; she'll look at my YouTube history and laugh at me. So, and as far as automatons go, like he plays it pretty well. Of all the videos I've seen, I've never seen anybody like really take it to a level of ability that is like particularly impressive. So he plays it as well as anybody can play an automaton, but unfortunately, it still doesn't sound great. So Sophia gave him a super no, and he is now the first recipient of a super no. And
Yeah, I think that's
four
pretty
no's
high
from the
praise.
judges, I'm sure. Yeah,
That's pretty high praise to get a super no.
yeah, or pretty low. So that was Matt Harbert.
It's all about perspective, Jay.
All about perspective. Okay, finally, we had Erin Byrne come out. She is studying at Elon University, studying economics and art. She's
That's a
like,
hold. I'm gonna pause you there for a moment, Jay.
yeah,
That's an interesting combination.
it is. It is.
I mean, is she
Uh,
gonna be an art dealer?
you know, maybe it's just two things that interest her.
Okay.
I could see her dovetailing well into like Freakonomics, or sort of the conversations they have there.
Okay.
The economics of it all, like everything's economics at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Okay.
if you listen to,
That is both left brain and right brain. I
it
mean,
is very much, yeah.
yeah.
So economics and art. She's young and pretty, and she walks out on the stage, and you think like, this is promising. It looks like we
Mhm.
might be out of these joke acts and back into the real ones. She says,
Yeah.
I've
I mean,
never performed in front. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just say you're. This is exactly what you're thinking because they've done the three bad acts, which is their trend. They'll give you kind of quick three that are bad, just kind of fun, and then yes, they go right into something that's actually going to be pretty good.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
I've never performed in front of an audience before, so it's like we've got that emotional, like, oh man, the nerves must just be eating her up. And the song starts. It's Bonnie Tyler's "Total Eclipse of the Heart," and she does this thing where she sings with her mouth closed, like any 7-year-old might do while they're just hanging out in their bedroom alone. See what noises they can make and make noises. So she's like this. I don't know if you could hear that, but it's all muffled, and it's really hard to hit the pitches that you want to hit when you're singing like that. I giggled through this whole thing. She was so like straight faced through it all. She did not crack a smile. She did not, um, make a joke of it. 4 X's from the judges. They were saying, "How can someone who looks so serious do this?" Howie said it was just ventriloquism without a dummy. Uh, but I loved it. I thought it was cute. Um, I'm not surprised she got 4 no's. But if we're gonna play the rank the eliminated acts between Aaron, our closed mouth singer, Matt playing the automaton, Chad, who read a couple of jokes, and Jordan, our not very good pianist, not very good singer, I'm gonna rank her first.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know what? I'd probably put them right in that order: Aaron, Matt, Chad, Jordan.
Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah, I agree
Exact
with that.
opposite order of what they presented them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think she did this on a bet,
A bet or a
dare of
a
some sort,
whim. She's art people, right? Theater people,
and economic people?
economics people. Um, she weighed the pros and cons of the attempt, and decided that the the exposure, the attempt, the experience of going through it outweighed the cons of possibly being eliminated, or humiliation in front of 10,000 viewers on TV on a
Yeah,
Tuesday night.
I think when they interviewed her, they asked, "So you want to go from this to doing, or from school or wherever it is, to doing music or whatever?" And she said, "If it will have me." So it's almost like she knew that she wasn't going to move on this.
If music will have me, it's what I'd like to do. Yeah. So maybe back to economics for her. I don't know. But I got a kick out of it. Good old
Yeah, it
Aaron
was
Burton.
fun. Yes.
All right. Back to back to the acts that are going through now. We got a gentleman named, well, goes by Frenchie Baby, or Kid Strobe, he called himself. I'm not sure if that's a birth name or not either, but Frenchie Baby. He is a contortionist dancer. His video package says he's a 25-year-old from the Bay Area. Discovered a dance battle down the street from his school. You ever stumbled across a dance battle?
Only in West Side Story.
Yeah, yeah. Once I saw a couple guys carrying some cardboard, and I followed them, but they were just movers. They weren't doing a dance battle. That's not true either. Um, so it says his parents were super religious and strict, did not allow dancing, did not like dancing. He left the house. His dad locked the door behind him, he said. Um, So he's got a. I have to mention his hairdo. He's got the
Yes.
off-center mohawk again, which is very in 2020. Our second
Yes.
off-center mohawk,
And it's
um,
colored.
and
Was it a
colored,
little
a
green tint to
nice
it?
bright green. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, I I don't know if it's people giving themselves haircuts and they're just not able to keep that mohawk up the middle, or if it's
No,
just sort of the thing people are doing these days.
I
But
think that's the thing people are doing. This is,
yeah.
remember, Jay, this is pre-quarantine. So this is not
Oh, that's
himself
right.
doing, yeah, he's not doing a quarantine haircut here.
Okay, okay.
So
This is
this was professionally
it
done.
was on purpose. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So he okay. I would love to describe this act to you, but it was all reaction shots. I I can't tell you anything he did
I
because
know. It's so
everything
disappointing.
was people reacting to him doing things. Um, what I could tell, he was very like Strauss Serpent in the way that he was twisting his arms.
Bingo. Yes.
But unfortunately, it was only his arms. Like his shoulders were definitely like popping out of the sockets, and things were twisting around in ways that should not be done.
Yeah.
But he also didn't climb into a bucket crotch first like Strauss Serpent did. So, uh, yeah. I'm curious. Like, if you ran a chess timer on this act in the production, like it records time for the time that he's on screen, and then time where he's just getting reaction shots. Like, did we watch more seconds of reaction than the actual act itself?
Yeah, these reaction shots are really getting annoying because I think there was another one as well where they, they're in the middle of their performance, and when they're doing something really well, they then flip to the judges or flip to the audience, and then you're missing part of the act.
Yes.
So it's really really annoying. I get they're trying to get you excited by showing you that the audience is excited, but let me get excited. Just let me watch it and let me get excited. Yeah, I had Strauss Serpent written down as well from Champions 2. And I was wanting to know how you thought he did compared to Strauss Serpent.
Well, top half compared to Strauss Serpent, he is as good.
Okay.
Uh, from from the belly button down, he is not as good.
Okay.
So, so the lead goes to Strauss Serpent.
Okay, fair enough. But Strauss Serpent didn't wear body paint?
Yeah, or I think so.
Okay.
That's what it looked like. How we mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
Not even the body paint could keep up with the amount of bending that his body was doing.
And I didn't catch that the first watch through. I thought he was wearing some really thin, tight shirt,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
when he did his routine, like part of the shirt was ripping. But when I watched it the second time through, I could actually see that yes, he looked like he had body paint, and the body paint was coming off from all
Yeah.
the stretching and maneuvering he was doing.
But the body paint was kind of cool looking. Like it
It
sort of
was.
like kind of looked like his guts.
Yeah.
Or, what you would see under the skin. So.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Heidi said, "Did you really take your arm out of the socket?" Sophia said, "Not everybody can do that." Simon said, "If you've got that talent, you got to do something with it." And Howie said, "You took it to another level. The paint couldn't even stretch as much as you were." So 4 yeses from the judges. And then, because Simon must know something about his backstory,
Bingo. I had the same, I thought the exact same thing.
he says, "Hey, can we call your mom?" Uh, So they bring his phone out and they call mom, and it rings about 7 times. They cut to commercial. We come back. Mom answers the phone. He says, "Hey, it's Simon. Your son's here. He's been dancing on America's Got Talent. He got 4 yeses." His mom sounds very happy for him. He says, Simon asks, "Can we say that he got 5 yeses?" And after a pause, she says yes, or that's what I think we heard, but it was captioned for us. It seems like he is making some kind of inroads, back with his family, proving that uh, proving some self-worth, and that his dreams are worth chasing a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, Jay, because his whole backstory was that his parents are really religious. Dancing is not allowed. Pretty much his dad. I mean, I didn't get that. I didn't know. I didn't understand if he left or if his dad kicked him out. But either way, he pretty much was not allowed back in their house. But then all of a sudden he goes on AGT. He does really well. Simon gives his stamp of approval, and the mom is on board now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. We'll see if that story progresses through the season here, if we have more to say about it. I'm sure they'd love to put together a video package for us in the next episode.
Yep. But yes, knowing their backstory, kind of triggered me a little bit with this one, and there's a couple more later on as well, where it's almost like they know the exact question to ask in order to get the right response.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a television show. It's an entertainment show. You know, I'm more or less okay with saying, yeah, go ahead and, you know, understand the right question to ask or understand the story so that you can be a better judge or a better interviewer at the end of the act or whatever. So I'm okay with it.
As he progresses through the show, if he continues to progress through the show, are we pretty much going to get the same story, or are we going to? Do you think we're going to see a progression of them reuniting and reconciling? And
I think we're going to see, the progression of that story of the reconciliation, or not. You know, that would be an interesting turn for it to take, and make him maybe a little bit more sympathetic of a character.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so after all that, we are on to what I have labeled as the fourth act of the night. And I had to check my notes. Like, is this really only the fourth? Yeah, I guess, if you kick out those four rejected acts, that's all that we're at so far.
Yep. Well, we had a really long, meeting with the judges for Frenchie Baby, because they had to make the phone call. How long was his?
Yeah.
So I have down that reactions. I hope this is right. I have written down that reactions was 8 minutes.
Ooh.
But that's including
not
the full break? It's not a full commercial break. I mean, this is Hulu time. So the title card comes up, we fade to black, title card comes back, and then we come back and we're still calling Mrs. Frenchie Baby, Mama Frenchie Baby,
Mrs. Baby.
Yeah, Mrs. Mama Frenchie Baby. So I have down that it was an 8-minute reaction time. So
that's plenty.
Yeah,
that's plenty.
The other acts, most of the other acts don't even go 8 minutes total.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay, fourth act of the night. We got Usama Siddiq. He was on the med school track, told his parents, I'm going to move to New York and do comedy. Originally from Plano, Texas. His family is immigrant family, Muslim family. And he introduces himself, in his act. He says, my name's Osama. No relation to, the guy. His mom says, maybe you want to change your name to something less Muslim, like Hussein? He says, Mom, not better. And then it talks a little bit about him and his girlfriend who had an open relationship. She met a guy who I knew was a better lover than me just because of his name, Alejandro. And talks about some people you just know based on their name are going to be a better lover than you are. Why couldn't it have been Eugene or Simon? Which was kind of a funny joke there, given that we've got a Simon in the audience or as a judge. So standing O from the audience and all four judges. What did you think of Osama Siddiq?
I liked it once he got into the Alejandro act. The first one seemed, we're pretty far along from, Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein and all of that. Obviously it's still weird to kind of hear jokes about that, but we're pretty far along now. But I really enjoyed it when he got into the second one about Alejandro. I thought that was a much better those were much better jokes. It was more of a story. It wasn't just like one liner type jokes. So he had a progression. They even all of the judges even talked about they want to know what happened to Alejandro. So and Eugene, they want to know what happened to him. So they've Simon commented, you always want to leave your audience wanting more. So he can come back next week and talk more about that story. So I thought that was really good. I really liked Usama. Is it Usama or Osama?
Well, his name is spelled Usama, but it sounded
Okay.
like he pronounced it Osama.
Okay. But I really, really liked him. I thought he was very funny. In his package, it talked about him wanting to be or going to medical school. And when you're an immigrant like his parents, or when you're immigrants like your parents are, then if your kid gets to go to medical school, it's like hitting all sevens.
It's a
So
jackpot.
they were not happy when he told them that he wanted to be a stand-up comedian, not go to medical school. But I think he can do really well. He seems to work the crowd very well. He seems to interact with the judges very well. He's got some good material. I hope he can keep it up. I really, really like him.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look forward to seeing him again. Seeing him, if he does a performance in judge cuts with just the four judges there, it may be difficult.
Yeah,
Comedians have a hard time in that arena, but he has kind of a confidence and a swagger about him, a likability about him.
yep,
Well, I don't know if it was subconscious or not. I just looked down at my notes. It's like uh, Howie's comments. You have a confidence and a likability. I think this is going to go well for you.
hey, quit stealing Howie's material.
Yeah, I don't know. Sophia said that was funny. It's hard to find jokes that fit the time that you have, and you did a great job, which is something to say. Like he had the 90 seconds to 3 minutes or whatever they give him, and he did fill it well.
Yes.
So as an aside, Heidi said, I want to know what happened to Alejandro and Eugene. I liked it, and I like you. Simon said, your timing was perfect. You left us wanting more.
Yep.
And if a comedian leaves you wanting more, I think that's good.
Yes.
That's good. So
Yep. Yeah,
four yeses from the
like
judges.
I don't feel like he gave all his material in this performance. I think he does have more.
Yeah, I think there's a lot there.
Yep.
He's honed his craft well.
Yep.
I hope to see him go far.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, fifth act of the night. A young man named Kelvin Dukes. He is a 14-year-old from Burtonsville, Maryland. Sings Ain't No Way by Aretha Franklin. His video package was like, I love to sing, and my parents tell the camera that he loves to sing, and I love to sing, and I
And
sing.
I sing all the time. It's like,
So,
hey,
so
he's
that's his.
14. What else is he doing? I mean,
I don't know. That was his video package.
yeah.
He has a really fine, like tenor, possibly alto voice. Got a lot of soul, really good control of his voice, really impressive, flourishes and runs with the lines that he's doing. Pretty easy to listen to. Really hard to dislike this kid. Standing ovation from the judges. What'd you think of Kelvin Dukes?
He was a lot of fun. He's got a great personality. He's another one that interacts well with the judges. He didn't just stand there at the microphone either. He took the microphone out of the stand, walked around the stage.
Yep.
He just stand still, and he's fun. He's got a great personality. I probably already said that. He said the first time he sang, and I'm guessing maybe it was a talent show, but he said the first time he sang, he burped in front of the judges.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. He said he wanted to be a dentist, and then we get Sophia saying she went to dental school.
Yes.
I was like, that's new. I didn't know that.
She didn't complete her dental school, which, I'm going to go ahead and say it's okay to try a new career and see if it does or doesn't work out for you.
Yeah. But he's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of stuff he can do much better than Thomas Day. I think he's miles better than Thomas Day. I really like the fun type songs. He doesn't have much of a story other than just being a 14-year-old kid, which I really enjoy.
Yep. Yeah, very likable. Very easy to root for this kid. yeah, in comparison to Thomas Day, I'll take this one all day long. So,
Yep.
um, Simon said that was amazing. Heidi said you are awesome. You did the song justice. Howie said you are great. Burped. Said I love you. America loves you. This room loves you. Sophia said you are so comfortable. I can feel you want to be here. And then Simon added again, from the minute you walked out, I thought, I really like you. And you really have a special talent. So 4 yeses from the judges.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned this earlier on, Jay, that I tell everyone that I'm doing the Spotify playlist again this year. So in past couple of seasons, I've done a Spotify playlist where I put the songs that were sang, the songs that were covered, I should say, because the original songs aren't going to be in there. So songs that were covered, I created an America's Got Talent playlist. So I've started the one for season 15. I'll include the link to that in the show notes so that you all can go back and listen to the originals if you don't know any of these songs.
Awesome. Good work. Good. Okay, 6th act of the night. You ready to talk about the Bellow sisters?
Yes, let's talk about the Massaudi brothers.
Also, no relation to Bellow Knock.
Yes, which I was like, oh, so they're his daughters, but they're taking his first name. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Chinese thing where you take the first name for last name first and the first name. I don't know. So the Bellows. Bellow Knock, his daughter did perform.
She did, yes.
She got blown up, I think, or the box around her did, and she was fine, if I recall. Bellow sisters, acrobatic hand balancing trio. Massaudi brothers would get along really well with them, I think.
Yeah, and I think they're both from Italy. Like this,
are they really? Okay.
These sisters are from Italy. I'm guessing the Massaudi brothers are also from Italy.
Yeah. So we've got Lauren. She's 22. She's the serious one. Celine is 19. She's the clown. And Jolene, 13. She's the youngest and the most attractive. And people can't believe they're sisters because they're so different. I disagree.
That's quite a big age gap. Do you think, Jay?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I think Lauren and Celine had done as much as they could as hand balancers. They're like, Mom, Dad, we need a little sister. I don't know.
We got these. There's these 3 guys out there that are brothers that are doing this stuff. We need a sister so we can do the same thing they're doing?
So they apparently learned their craft from their father. Said Dad never got to perform in Vegas, and we want him to. So we want a Vegas show, and we want to bring him on stage with us. So that's the Bellow sisters. Intro anyhow.
Yeah, they said that their mom was the first woman to cross the high wire on stilts.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to mean something to us?
Just that they're a circus family, an acrobatic family. That's what they do.
Okay.
Okay. So we got a hand balancing act. All right. I'm going to try and describe their 3 different sets that they did here.
This is where you shine, Jay.
This is where I shine.
This is where you shine. Yeah.
Okay. The first set that they do, first sister is on her back. She's got her arms straight up and her feet straight up. Second sister has her.
I'm gonna pause real quick, Jay. You got to know which sister is which.
I don't know which is which.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
I'm guessing the bottom one was Lauren, the middle one's Celine, and the top one's Jolene. All right.
Okay.
So this is my guess. I couldn't tell them apart, actually.
Yeah.
Much to their chagrin. Okay. So first sister, she's on her back, feet are straight up in the air, arms are straight up in the air. Second sister has her hips on top of the bottom sister's feet, and they are like hand to hand. So she is horizontal to the ground above her. Then she sticks her feet straight up, and third sister sort of climbs on up there, does a handstand on top of her feet, and then she does the splits and is held up by the middle sister's thighs, if that makes any sense. Bottom and middle girls like let go of each other's hands. So middle sister is sort of balanced with the weight of the top sister and her top half then that way. So showing a lot of core strength. Pretty cool little set. Something that, a individual or just 2 hand balancers together can't do. That's why magic happens when you get three really good hand balancers together. So the second set, okay, one girl has one foot up in the air. The second girl braces both her feet against that one, so they're making like an A frame. First girl's got the 1 foot up, second girl's got the 2 feet up, head down for the second girl. So the third then climbs up on top, does a handstand on top of those 3 feet. Then the girl with 1 foot up lifts her hands and leaves just that 1 foot on the ground, which looked like a lot of pressure on that knee between her hips and the ground. So looked like it was about to crack that leg backwards. But that was a cool little set. Third set, first girl does a back bend. She's got one hand on the ground and one in the air, so she's like twisted all the way over. The second sister, she's facing away from her, puts her hands on the bottom sister's knees and lifts one leg back behind her head to meet the first girl's hand that was up in the air, right? She's doing a back bend, one hand up in the air. Second sister's got her hands on her knees and a foot that reaches back to meet that hand in the air. The third sister then climbs up and again does the handstand on top of the foot that's lifted above her head. And again, it looks like that second leg, it's going to break if that first sister wasn't bracing it with her hand in the air. So that was their 3 sets. They were beautiful and athletic and charming and really impressive throughout. The judges gave them a standing ovation. What do you think of the Bellow sisters while I take a drink here?
Yeah. Take a little breather from that. No, they're fantastic. They're extremely talented. They're extremely well balanced. They work very well together. I mean, I don't even know if I can put into words how good these ladies are. Yes, we compare them to the Massaudi brothers. It's a very, very similar act, except with 3 young ladies. But it's so hard to describe the strength that it takes for them to do this act, and just all the different formations that they can do. I can't even put it into words. I can't even give it justice. Very, very impressed. I like them a whole lot.
Very graceful, very strong, very fun to watch.
Yep.
Yeah. Sophia said that's a fun family business. It was breathtaking and beautiful. Howie said it didn't look humanly possible. I was waiting for something to snap. Heidi said, girl power. The grace and the speed was so elegant and perfect. Simon said, where's your father? And we're introduced to Steven. So it just happened to wonder, like, hey, where's your dad at? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any story there to tell? So 4 yeses from the judges. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Bellow sisters have to offer us. Really great act.
Yeah, as the rounds move on, they should introduce some props, some different types of acts, maybe even fire. Or I don't remember if the Massaudi brother. I have to go back and look what the Massaudi brothers did. Well, we only saw them twice, 3 times maybe from Champions. No, we saw them in season 14. So not Champions, season 14. So we'd have to go back and kind of look at their routines, see what they brought, and see if the Bellow sisters kind of bring something similar.
Yeah, I don't remember the Massaudi brothers being quite so flexible with their act.
Yeah, they're not sticking a leg up over their head and bending it backwards, that type of stuff.
Do remember their dad joining them on stage.
Yes,
so
yes,
like
in their audition.
Parallels run deep.
Yeah, but I don't think that their dad. I mean, unless their mom comes out, I don't see the dad coming out and doing the routine with them.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. 7th act of the night. We got Roberta Battaglia. She is a 10-year-old singer. Got kind of a deep alto singing voice. Loves to sing. Wants, if she wins the $1 million, she's going to get her dog a little girlfriend. She's got a Maltese Yorkie mix. Sings a song
named Happy.
Called, yes, Happy the dog.
Yes.
That's a good dog name. That's a good dog name.
Yeah.
What's better, a dog named Happy or a pig named Mac?
Ooh, I think both are fantastic names. Of course, Mac has to be 700 pounds.
Yeah,
Um,
Big Mac. That's what I want to
Big
call him.
Mac, that's right. Happy, what you say, Maltese and Yorkie. So that's a
Yeah,
small dog. That's still what, a 12, 15 pound dog. So
maybe.
I think Happy is a very good name for a small, energetic type dog. Yeah, I can go with that.
All right.
I think
Okay.
she called it a Morkie, right?
Yes, that sounds
Yes.
right. Yep. So yeah, she's got a really pretty alto voice, which is unique for a 10-year-old. You would generally
Is
expect
she
them
is she
to.
good for a 10-year-old?
She's not bad for a 10-year-old. But you would generally expect them to sing more in like the soprano range, and
Yes.
she, brings that unique something with her to the stage. Um, I didn't find her particularly engaging or think that she had particularly great stage presence. Judges gave her a standing O though, and uh, Heidi, it's amazing what you just did. Howie, your age and talent are unbelievable. Simon said, you know what? You are so likable, so humble. You must have great friends. And she says, oh, I do get bullied sometimes. And he says, there's a way to win over bullies. It's by being happy and successful. And Sophia, her heart is just flowing over with love for little Roberta. She says, you know what? Or I'm sorry, she says, it was amazing, breathtaking. Let's see who's going to bully you after this. And she hits the golden buzzer. So there you go. That's Sophia's golden buzzer. We've got Roberta doing Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm gonna top this off with saying it made me happy that the golden buzzer was at the middle of the show and not at the end of the
Yeah.
show. So I was really pleased with that. I'm glad they kind of did that. It was a nice little shake up. We expected it last week to kind of be in the middle of the show. It wasn't. It was still at the end of the show. So it was a lot of fun to see it in the middle of the show. I thought she did a really good job of this song. It's a country type song. I thought she did it very well. They even kind of teased her that was that you singing or was that actually Lady Gaga singing behind you? Because she did it so well. Still, I think as far as talent goes, better than Thomas Day. I'd kind of put her and Kelvin kind of on the same level. I think both her and Kelvin did fantastic jobs. Um, but they had to throw the bully thing in there. It's again, it's almost like they were fed that information ahead of time
And
and
it
knew
came
what
from
question to
nowhere.
ask.
Like that wasn't part of her video
It
package, or it
came out
wasn't
of
any like
nowhere.
it was.
Yes,
It felt a little forced. I agree with
it it
that.
it did. And then of course we had to give her the golden buzzer. And I think I know this is probably not going to be taken the right way, but I think she was given the golden buzzer because of that situation and not because of the talent. Um, because Sophia even said, let's see them bully you now. And I'm going to give this to you to kind of, get back at the bullies. Um,
Yeah.
so like you say, it felt forced. It felt like it didn't belong there, that she probably could have done the whole act without even mentioning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That part kind of threw me for a loop. But all in all, she is a bit of a unique singer.
Yeah.
That alto voice reminds me of other kid singers who come out and do opera or come out and do blues or come out and do like she has that something special, something unique. So
Yes.
I'm pleased with that about her. It's not just same old, but it's pretty close to the same old same old. uh, uh, Judges loved her. I'm hoping she's going to grow on me. I'm looking forward to see what else she can bring us.
Yeah. And just kind of one final thing. She is from Toronto, Howie's hometown. So
Yes.
he was very excited about that.
Yes, he was. Okay. Eighth act of the night. We got a gentleman named Florian Sainvet from France. He is a magician. I didn't really write down like any special thing about his act other than
Yeah.
he takes a DVD out of a case and that it disappears and reappears, and it jumps from one hand to the other, and it jumps from that hand to the first hand, and it multiplies, and then it grows giant, and it sometimes turns into paper and sometimes disappears, and you just don't really know what's going on, but it's very flashy.
Yeah, I'll just make this little comment here. We finally know where all of those laser discs went that people threw away back in the 90s. Because he's making some good use out of laser discs.
Yeah.
Because he would make CDs, DVDs, and eventually he went to the laser disc, and he would just make those appear and disappear, just flashing all over the place. Every once in a while, he'd convert one into some confetti paper. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. As far as how it's done, I have a bit of a guess, but it's to hard to say anything wrong with it.
Hmm.
Other than there was no story, there was no
Yeah.
through line other than like, hey, it's over here. Hey, look, it's over there. Now it's over here. Now it's over there. Like a lot of just sort of misdirection. But I'd love to see a little bit more. Like I said, story. But all in all, the magic is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heidi said, I've seen a lot of magic. I feel like it repeats itself, but I have not seen this before. Simon said, you've got great stage presence. Sophia said, I'm going to give you your first yes. We didn't get any comments or judging from Howie on this act for some reason. So I'm assuming 4 yeses from the judges for Florian Sainvet.
Yeah, I agree. I think there were four yeses.
Okay, all right.
I mean, if there was a no, I think we would have heard it. So I think you got 4 yeses.
Okay, all right. Now we are on to Jennifer and Daiquiri. This is a lady and her dog. She says, I think Daiquiri can win the show. I'm just kind of along for the ride. So they do like a wizard themed, magic themed show. Has Daiquiri pull a scarf from her sleeve and then a rabbit out of her hat. He jumps through kind of a large hoop. He goes behind a curtain and changes into a different, smaller dog. And that dog jumps through a smaller hoop and then goes back and changes back into Daiquiri. And Daiquiri then does the hot new dog trick of 2020, jumps through a really small hoop. And then the last trick was a pretty cool one. I'm sure we've seen it before, but she lays down on her back with her magic wand, like a crossword. It's like a 1.5 inch inch and a half tube or dowel, whatever it is. Daiquiri balances on that stick, on that magic wand, and then she does like a bench press with the dog balanced on the stick. It looks good. Impressive little act. Daiquiri is clearly very well trained. What are your thoughts on Jennifer and Daiquiri as far as a dog act?
I thought the magic part of it was a nice little twist that we haven't seen before. That was fun. Dancing on the little bar. I mean, not dancing, bouncing on the bar. It's, I think, something new we haven't seen dogs do. So that was definitely unique. Sarah and Hero never did that. The only other thing we've seen was what's his name that balanced what's his name on his feet up in the air. Yeah, we've seen him several times. That's that's pretty impressive. But to actually have a dog balance on a rod or a bar, something of that nature, I think is definitely unique that we haven't seen before. It'll be interesting if they continue the magic theme going forward, or if they do something different, kind of like Sarah and Hero would do a different theme each time. It was fun. It was all right. She has 2 dogs, so the one disappearing, one coming back out. That was a little fun. I'm not sure how far it can go, but I was surprised with Sarah and Hero, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah. Continue to work on the storytelling. Continue to work on the unique tricks, and she may make it a few rounds. I don't see this as a winning act, but it sure is fun to watch. So, yeah. Simon said, we've never had a dog do magic in all our years. Sophia said, I think it was wonderful and entertaining. Howie said, yes. And Heidi said, second yes from me. So that was Howie's comments were just sort of disappeared here for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there, but Simon had to go say hi to the dogs.
Yes, because that's Simon loves him some dogs. All right, so that is Jennifer and Daiquiri. You know, one thing I think worth mentioning, Jennifer seems a little bit older than our traditional like one woman and dog act.
Mhm.
Sarah in Hero, she was young. Alexa Lauenberger was preteen. They tend to skew a little bit younger for this particular kind of act. Um, but maybe that gives her some maturity to bring something new, something better to the table.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's that. 10th act of the night. It's a salsa duo. They go by Simon E. Maria. Uh, their names are Simon and Maria. A couple of younger kids. Simon's 12, Maria's 10. They were both born in Colombia. They moved to the U.S. at a very young age. They met at their dance studio. They are always hanging out. Um, man, thoughts on Simon and Maria's act?
So I actually enjoyed their act. They actually did salsa dancing, so I
Yeah.
liked this better than bad salsa. And I gave my comments last week about that they only deleted half of salsa dancing because they didn't do the music part. And they're kids. I thought they're a lot of fun. They seem to really enjoy dancing with each other and hanging out with each other. Um, he knows who the boss is, so that was fun to kind of to find out that she's the boss in this friendship. Um, and their dancing was on point. I mean, we've seen quite a bit. We've seen quite a few kid dance acts, salsa dancing or ballroom dancing over the years, and I think they're pretty good. I mean, they're right up there with them.
The quality of the dancing from Bad Salsa is better than Simon E. Maria.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, Simon and Maria, they were fast, and she is very flexible, and he is very strong, and they were in sync, and they were fun to watch. I'm always going to have reservations about kid dancers moving in sexy ways,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit makes me bristle a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so that's there's a little bit of a strike against them for that, but all things said, they're pretty talented. I'm okay with them going through. Uh, Again, I don't see them going too far, but they're awfully likable little kid dancers.
If you had to pick between them and bad salsa, who would you pick?
That's also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
If you had to pick between, since we know where you are on these two, if you had to pick Bad Salsa and Patty and Nico
Patty
from
and Nico.
from Champion season 2.
Okay. Patty was older, and Nico was like a young gentleman that danced with her, right?
Right. So
Um,
Patty was like 85 and Nico was in his 30s.
okay. Boy, I don't remember them being particularly great. Uh, they seemed a little bit. Man, I think I'll take Patty and Nico on this one. I think I'll take
Okay. Well
Patty and
then,
Nico. All right.
okay. Then let's look at Patty and Nico versus Quinn and Misha.
That's another like old young.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she was 70. He was also in his 30s, but she looked really good for 70. She looked like she was like in her maybe late 40s or early 50s.
Okay, and like tiny, right? Sort of
She's
a.
very tiny. Yes.
Ah, boy, I'm not giving these guys a proper shrift, not going back to watch their acts. So let's go with Quinn and Misha for their pure dancing ability.
Okay. So then now we're going even further back, Jay. And I kind of surprised Jay with this at the beginning. I prepped him a little bit, but he really hasn't had a chance to go through and look at him. But we'll kind of go back here. We're going back a little bit further. So we're going to go back Quinn and Misha and Junior and Emily from season 12.
Junior and Emily from season 12. They were that was the brother sister act,
I think
right?
they were brother sister act, similar to Billy and Emily, except they do ballroom dancing.
The ballroom dancing without the roller skates.
Yes, yes.
Junior and Emily, they boy, I seem to remember her being capable, having a beautiful smile. Uh, as far as like dancing ability, I feel like Junior and Emily were probably the better couple. Yeah.
Okay, so far you got as the further we're going back, you think it's getting better and better.
Apparently.
Okay, so
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, maybe.
I guess so. Okay, so now we're going to go really far back, and we have a couple of kid groups. We have two pairs of kids from season 8, Ruby and Jonas, and D'Angelo and Amanda.
Okay. But so you gave me the heads up on this, and I looked it up. We had
Yeah,
Ruby and Jonas. Uh, Ruby and Jonas. Ruby's like 9, and then D'Angelo and Angela, and D'Angelo and Amanda. D'Angelo was like 12 or 13, and they are brother sister on like competing acts in season 8.
yeah.
Competing dance
D'Angelo and
duos.
Ruby were competing against each other. Yes,
Right, and they are brother sister.
yes.
And when you dig in a little bit further, you'll see that D'Angelo and Ruby were actually not just on season 8 dancing with their partners, they were on season 7 dancing with the Untouchables. And the Untouchables was made up of children coached by the people that coached the Miami All-Stars from season 6. So season 6 was Miami All-Stars. Season 7 was the children of Miami All-Stars, the Untouchables. It's like the Miami All-Stars, but kids. Kind of like Light Balance, but kids.
Yes.
But so like if Miami All-Stars aren't going to win, like the Untouchables aren't going to win, right? And so when the Untouchables were then eliminated, we then regressed to D'Angelo and Amanda and Ruby and Jonas as the last remaining vestments of the Miami All-Stars era of AGT. So Ruby and Jonas, D'Angelo and Amanda. I felt like Ruby and Jonas were probably the cuter, more entertaining ones of those two. And putting those two up against Junior and Emily, Junior and Emily were the more talented of the duo. So I'm going to give the edge to Junior and Emily.
Okay, so it looks like Junior and Emily so far, and I know there's other ballroom dancing duos and maybe even salsa duos out there. These are just the ones that I was able to find kind of on short notice. So of our group here, it seems like you like Junior and Emily better than what we've got currently.
I do, but
that's without actually going back and reviewing their act. You're just doing it off the top of your head.
And you know what? When I watch these old ladies dancing with the young men, and like the way that they move and the trust that they have and their flexibility and their strength at 85, like that's if nothing else, it deserves applause.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it really is impressive, and it's fun to watch, and it makes me smile. So the entertainment value of those old ladies might be higher. It's really hard to to just sort of randomly judge them, or what it is that I'm judging. The entertainment value, the dancing quality, the whatever it might be, the cuteness of the kids. It is kind of hard to stack them up one against the other, but all that to say, I think the edge goes to Junior and Emily.
Okay, I think going back and looking at Ruby and Jonas and D'Angelo and Amanda. Now, AGT time was not around when season 8 was around, but we did do a rewatch of season 8 a couple of years ago, and I think I liked Ruby and Jonas better than I liked D'Angelo and Amanda. I'll have to go back in the archives and dig through that footage and see what I actually said about them. But I think I liked them a little bit better at that time than Junior and Emily. I think I enjoyed all of these. I wasn't too high on Quinn and Misha and Patty and Nico back in Champions, but as far as Simon and Maria and Bad Salsa, I think I would give the edge to Simon and Maria.
Oh man,
yeah. So I'd kind of like to see them up against some of these other dance duos. So I think I like the dance duos better than I do the dance groups. They just seem the ballroom dancing and the salsa dancing just seems a little more entertaining to me.
Yeah, it's to my untrained dancer's eye. I can follow a duo a little bit
Yes.
easier than I can follow an entire group. When groups are doing things all in sync, and they make shapes or patterns or whatever with their bodies, like that's a little bit more easy to follow, and each person's playing their small role in the big picture. There's some appreciation for that. But like the Miami All Stars or the Untouchables, like we just mentioned, it's this entire group of people that are all doing their dancing at the same time, and there's a trick over here and there's a trick over there, and this person flips through the front, and it is kind of hard to know what to watch or where to look to really appreciate
Yeah.
the whole act.
Yeah, yeah. And when I watch these in person and not on TV, I find myself focusing in on a certain group or an individual, and then I miss what's going on in the other areas. Thankfully, AGT focuses in and does a slow mo for me, just so I know what to look for.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the slow mos. Uh, yeah. All right. Simon and Maria, we will see them again. They are fine quality dancers. I don't see them going too far in the competition. I feel like I've said that a lot tonight. But heck, this might be all we're getting. It's hard to say.
Yeah, and you mentioned at the top of the show, they're digging deep to give us 2 hours of content.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so last act of the night, gentleman by the name of Brandon Wilbarger, Brandon Wilbarger, 31-year-old from Toledo, Ohio. He's billed as a novelty singer, goes by the stage name Bonavega. And he is introduced to us. He's got like golden flames painted over his eyebrows. He says, I couldn't express myself creatively as a kid. I drove to Hollywood and chased my calling for creative expression. He says, I'm going to be performing an original song that's basically the story of my life. And yeah, so that was the intro package. What thoughts on Bonavega before we kind of get into the actual act?
So I guess I wasn't keeping track of the time when the show was airing because I didn't realize this was the last act of the night. I thought we were going to get something silly, not very good. It was going to be a complete bomb. And boy, was I wrong. Was I completely wrong. This guy is amazing. He did an original song that's the story of his life. He is an best I can describe it, he's like an 80s rocker, and he can play the electric guitar, he can dance, he can sing, he is entertaining. He was wearing, I don't even know what, like he was wearing like a sequined mini skirt. I mean,
Not a mini skirt, more cut like a one-piece bathing suit, a women's
oh,
one-piece
okay,
bathing
yeah,
suit.
okay.
But yeah, it was sequiny and bright, and he would stand out in any crowd.
Yeah, and this dude is ripped as well. I mean, he is toned. So he's got muscles everywhere. So I mean, he was sporting that swimsuit.
Yeah, it goes sings this song. I didn't take it all down, but seemed to, I don't know how this is the story of his life. He's being held back, but don't take away my overdrive, right? Don't take
Yeah.
away, don't take away, don't take away my overdrive. Does a guitar solo, like you said. He's got that want to that we
Yes.
mentioned, right? Tons of energy. The quality of the song, the quality of the singing, the quality of the act itself. I'm not sure that it's AA plus, but man, I didn't find a whole lot wrong. He's um, reminds me, he's kind of Prince Poppycock meets
Yes.
Hans meets
Yes.
sort of that genre, right? The
Yes.
glam rock. My personality is what you're voting for, not necessarily what I do in this particular performance.
Yeah, Prince Poppycock is the vibe that I got as well, except a rocker and not an opera singer. I'm excited to see this guy again.
Yeah. I think he's got so much more to give. Howie said, when you came out with the makeup and I see you wearing that, I thought this was going to be a joke, but you're my biggest surprise of the season. It's rock and roll, it's camp, it's theater, and you have a mullet. Heidi said, I love everything about you. It blew my mind, and you stand fantastically on top of it. Sophia said, was there a reason for all the muscles? And Simon said, we got to know a lot about you from that performance. To which he said, I like performing obnoxiously, and I like to do it. I like to do that to be a bit of an escape for the people watching. So I thought that was an interesting comment. I like to perform obnoxiously.
Yes.
Which there's a skill to that, to perform obnoxiously yet be entertaining and likable, and to put a smile on people's faces. That's a tough line to walk, and I think he walked it very well.
Yeah, and you could be obnoxious, but you also have to be good. And if you're not good, then that amplifies the obnoxious. Which I it seemed like his singing was very good. He can rock the guitar. He was all over the stage. He wasn't
Up
just
on the judge's desk.
up on the judge's desk. Yeah, so he wasn't just being silly and and he wasn't all over the place. He actually knew what he was doing. He was under control the entire time.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, just kind of think about, like, in contrast, and this is kind of a strange contrast, but we talked about the old school roller skaters last week, who they didn't get to the reveal, right? They were
Mhm.
just obnoxious roller skaters for a while, and there wasn't the, like, oh, but everything is under control. It was just like, this is just kind of obnoxious, right? They
Yeah.
were performing obnoxiously on purpose, but not with the same payoff that Bonavega gave us.
Yeah,
So
and part of his shtick as well is that he came out. They asked him who he was. He said, "I'm Bonavega. Let's get to it." He's like, "I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to do any of this nonsense. I don't want to talk. Let's perform." So he just said, "I'm Bonavega," and he went right into it. So you got
I
to
did
give
kind of
got to
like
give him
that.
credit. Yeah, you got to like that.
Yep, 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 yep. Very good. All right, so that is the last act of the night, not the golden buzzer. That was back a bit ago with Roberta Bagli- Battaglia. Sorry, Roberta.
Battaglia. Yes.
Roberta Battaglia. That was Sophia's golden buzzer. So got a few more golden buzzers to give, a few more episodes. We got a lot coming down the pike for the season. Man, what else do we have to say for tonight?
I don't have much more to say for tonight. I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent night. We got a little disagreement with one of the judges, which I enjoy. They threw in some bad acts, and then the golden buzzer in the middle of the show, and then some excitement at the end of the show. I thought they produced this one pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was a good show. Looking forward to seeing what else they have coming down the pike, how they're going to quarantine all of this, and yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. It's fun to be back talking about America's Got Talent, and to sort of give my thoughts on these different acts and what I like and what I don't like. And if you guys have comments or agreements or disagreements, we'd really love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, just you can hit us up, Twitter, AGT Time. I'm on there, Cody L. Patterson. Jay's on there at One Man Bander. Send us an email, agtcast@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook, AGTcast on there as well. We're trying to, I'm trying to be on Twitter. the night the show is aired and post some comments and some reactions of my own, or at least from the AGT Time account. So if you want to see that, just log on to there during the show and kind of see. And we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a great night. Wash your hands, make good choices, and as Emily Byrne would say,
Y'all have a good night.
bye.